Hello, Martha.
Hello, Brian. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing this evening?
I'm fine. Trying to get ready for this meeting. For a couple minutes.
I'm sorry. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, you know what? I think I got this camera closed. Is that what I got? Oh, and I don't have it plugged in. So that's a good thing. It's good to me. See if this bill will work. Okay, there we go.
There you
I
are.
gotta cut the what I gotta do. Cut the other light on. No, it's my light. Okay. Let me change this camera. I can change it. I ain't gonna worry about it. It's just backwards, that's all.
It's fine. I
Okay.
usually try to join a little early.
Yeah, I'm running a little late. I probably have my camera off and audio off, listening, enjoy the time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna go on mute.
Thank you. All right, Madam President, it is 1 minute before 7. 1 minute.
Good evening, Brian.
Good evening.
When would you like to get started?
Thomas has not joined yet. Let me reach out to Thomas and ping him. Let's get started in about 2 minutes, if that's okay.
Sounds good. Everyone, while we are waiting to begin, there's going to be a community engagement portion of the agenda this evening. It's going to be limited to 20 minutes for this evening. I am just getting off the road last night and Brian is on his way out of the country. So we're going to cut the community engagement portion short this evening. But if you would like to be recognized during that portion, please raise your electronic hand so you can be called upon, and you can raise your hand at any time during the meeting. We're going to get started in a couple minutes. Thank you.
All right, Madam President, it is 7:03. And we do have a quorum. Thomas, oh, he is now joining.
Okay, thank you.
Give him about 30 seconds to get his audio situated. He's still connecting on the audio side. Here he is. Thomas, good evening, sir. You're on mute. Thomas, can you hear me? You're back on mute.
There you go. Can you hear me now? There we go.
Yes.
Okay.
Loud and clear, sir. Loud and clear.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All right. It is 7:05, Madam President.
All right, thank you, sir. The time now is 7:05 p.m. We're going to call this regular Board of Directors meeting to order. As a reminder, I've also placed in the chat this evening's community engagement portion is going to be held to 20 minutes. I just got off the road last evening and Brian is on his way out of town. So the community engagement portion tonight will be limited to 20 minutes. If you would like to speak during that time, you can raise your electronic hand at any time during the meeting. We ask that you remain on mute until you are recognized and called upon during the community engagement portion. So I call this meeting to order. Mr. Secretary, do the roll call of officers, please.
Shauna Spencer, President.
Present.
Thomas Lee McKeithen II, Treasurer.
I am here.
Brian Creighton Sr., Secretary, Present.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the June 22nd board meeting minutes. We are going to table those to such time as the board secretary can work with the communications committee to work out the details for making sure that the video and audio is posted so that the homeowners can view and hear our meetings.
I second that, and they will do it to a time certain, to a time certain, and I think the date was 20 July. But I think what we might need to do is, if it's agreeable to if it's agreeable to set the time frame to 30 August, and then I'll, after you do that, Sean, I'll make a motion for the other set of minutes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Shalina, can you mute your line, please?
Only you might not stand.
Brian, can you mute that
Yes,
line?
yes, I just did.
Okay, thank you. Thomas, you're saying table the meeting minutes until August 30th?
Brian is out, so he's on vacation. So give him time to kind of get back, dig out, and I don't think July 20th is doable.
Given the current circumstances, July 20th may be stretching a little bit.
August 30th is maybe stretching it. Is that what you're saying?
Let's can we look at the calendar and come up with a date that will.
So our next scheduled meeting would be,
It will be July 20th.
well, actually, we weren't going to meet on the 20th, were we? Because we're having the
No,
quarterly meeting on the 21st.
we were still meeting on the 20th. We were still meeting on the 20th if we had something to address, because that's when Brenda could come, and Brenda is unavailable on the 21st.
Correct.
Can rather. So we agreed to meet on the 20th. If there was something to share.
I agreed to that.
Yes, ma'am, you did. So that's why I said I think we need to go into August.
Okay, so the next meeting after the 20th would be August 3rd. The next meeting after that would be August 17th. And then the one after that would be August 31st. So Brian, what date in August?
Let's make it for August the 17th, even though I will be on leave the first week of August.
Okay.
I'll still work. I'll reach out to Nicole and try to set a time and date for us to meet and work this out.
All right. So so let me do it this way. Shauna, let's make it a time certain for this for the June the 22nd meeting minutes for deferred for review and approval until August 17th.
Are you making a motion or are we just deciding that? I don't think we
We're
need a
gonna
motion.
decide. No, we're just gonna decide, and so
Okay,
we're gonna just decide in that all the meeting minutes from 20 from all the meeting minutes from 25 May, we will approve them at the 17 August meeting.
okay.
All right.
Brian, you're good with that?
Yes.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the executive session update, architectural automation, and art application review. I'll turn this portion over to Thomas.
So we met with Brian and I met with the Century team. Excuse me. As you may be aware, we've experienced some challenges around with the architecture application process. The applications are being received, but we want to get some efficiencies around that. So we've got a path forward around that. I will say that we expressed our displeasure with how the communication around the ARC challenges was communicated, and we've been reassured that there will be improved communication around this matter. And so with that said, there's going to be a refreshed application that will be delivered on 13 July. We will beta test it during the week of July 18th through the 22nd. And so as a part of that process, we will meet with the Century team, the Century management team, and the IT team on July 13th to review the solution, work out any kinks relative to workflow and the like. We will beta test, as I noted, from the week of from the period of July 18th through the 22nd. We will meet with the team to resolve any issues on July 20th. And the new form will go live on Monday the 25th. So we will, based upon that strategy, we'll develop a high-level timeline with key milestones that we all will work to from that window of opportunity. So hopefully by we will go live on the 25th, and we'll make sure that as a part of that weekend's Brentwood Weekly, that we include a note around that. Bear with us as we kind of work through this transition again. And one of the reasons we're doing a beta process is to make sure that we don't have any technical issues again. All right.
Tom, was that it for that part? I
Yeah.
wanted to catch you before you went on to the next one.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so we're meeting with Century on the 13th and the
13th
20th.
and 13th and the 20th. They're both at 1 o'clock. So
Okay, so Brian, you are going to.
I'll handle that. I'll handle that.
Well, I think that I should send the meeting invites because you said that you don't know how to record the meetings, and we want to make sure that the meetings are recorded.
You'll not take that off now. We'll get it sorted.
Okay, I just want to make sure that they're recorded since Brian is not going to be here.
Yeah,
so
we'll get it sorted.
Okay. So Brian, Thomas and I will loop you in on the email about making sure those meetings are recorded, since you won't be able to manage those meeting invites. Go on to the next item from the executive session, Thomas.
That was all looped in one. It's the same ARC process. What we do need to make sure that we do is get the rest of those applications approved. So Brian, I know you'll be out. So Lashana, you and I'll find some time to connect between now and the 13th to kind of get that issue sorted. Because what I don't want to do is walk into the situation with our work not done. But you and I'll connect around that. To get
Brian, are you okay with that?
He's gonna be in the tropics.
Yeah. So I
just want to make sure he's okay with that.
I know, I'm picking with him.
Yeah, I would say go ahead and continue the process again, because we do have several ARC reviews out there that needs some attention. So go ahead and continue the path forward for that.
Okay. And do we know about how many are left?
It's like 11, 12, no, 13.
Between 11 and 14, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So moving on to we're moving on to board action items now on the agenda. The first is the communications policy. So I was going through emails. I addressed this in email, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but I did address with Thomas and with Century Management for violating the communications policy that the board had agreed upon and voted on, whatever meeting it is. So we want to make sure that we are following the communications policy. I did address it with Brenda and the CAM, and to make sure that Century is aware. I was told they're aware. I don't know why they violated it.
Well, the close. Let me kind of weigh in here. What we had an issue there was an error with the accounting. And so I'll tell you what I think about this policy in general. I think I do agree that there needs to be some streamlined communication so that we prevent duplication of effort and getting the wires crossed. What I don't believe needs to happen, and we can sort this later, is that one director needs to be empowered to to do all of the heavy lifting. And the concern is with this is that if any of us gets incapacitated or anything can happen, life happens, the association still needs to be able to function. So you were on travel. There was an error. It was a major error that needed to be corrected. I leaned in, had them to make the correction. So while the intent was not to violate the policy, I think as we look at this again, we need to build it so that there's flexibility in it for all of us, in that life happens and we still need to be able to function. And so the error needed to be corrected before the Q2 close. So that's why I took the action that I took around the error. So it was not intended to it was intended to kind of keep the wheels moving before end of month closure. So we do need to build something that has more flexibility. So in case just life happens. So it's too one-sided. I'm just going to call it as a call spade. Listen, I manage I manage a number of projects, and there's no way with the breadth of projects that I've managed that I could communicate around all the issues. And
Well,
so
Thomas, this is very surprising because you voted
well,
in
I
favor
voted
of
in
this
favor.
meeting.
Well, here's the thing, LaShawn. I'm not
Thomas,
listen. I'm not going. Let me finish my statement. Let me finish my statement.
Thomas, you
Yes,
were
I did.
done speaking, and I
No, I
started
was no,
talking, and
ma'am.
you
I
cut
wasn't.
me
No,
off.
ma'am. No, ma'am. I was not done speaking.
Okay, so let me know when you're done, and
I
then
will
I
let
will
you know
speak.
when I'm done. I will
Okay.
let you know when I'm done. I think if the policy, why I voted, I was railroaded. Okay, and I'm trying not to make this personal. You lady, don't laugh at me. I'm not
Excuse me?
trying to be
Wait,
disrespectful.
time out.
I'm not trying to
Excuse
be
me?
disrespectful.
Wait.
I'm not trying. Wait a minute. No, I'm not trying to be
Time
disrespectful.
out, time out.
And
Let's,
I'm not
let's,
trying to. And I'm not. No,
Thomas,
wait a minute, Brian. No.
wait. Let's,
You made this. You made this.
Thomas,
No. You
wait,
made this.
hold on, Thomas, hold on. Let's not.
I'm trying not to make it personal. She started laughing.
Hold
She
on.
started.
Thomas, please, hold on. For the sake of this board meeting.
No, I agree with you.
Let's take a step back. No personal attacks.
No, I agree with you. No, I agree with you, Bree.
Okay.
I agree with you. And I'm not trying to make it personal. But when you start laughing, no. Hold on 1 second, Brian. No, when you start laughing at me, that's disrespectful. And yeah, you came in here that night. And I'm just gonna say what I said. You came in here that night. Nobody knew this. Nobody knew that was on the agenda. We all agreed on the agenda. And this was done underhandedly. So it's a bad policy. It's a bad policy. Bottom line, bad policy. It
Okay, are you done? Are you finished? Because actually, point of order, we need to wrap this up in like 2 minutes. Everybody gets 2 minutes.
I recommend, so we can keep it the way it is right now. I mean, we keep it the way it is right now. So what my recommendation is that we take this offline. We look at what really makes sense, right? What really makes sense and what's in the best interest of the association, so we can be efficient and we can be effective.
But I think okay, Thomas. Okay, LaShawna, please.
Thank you. As I was saying, the board voted on this policy. All 3 board members voted in favor of the policy. The policy was established because there were too many directors giving direction to the vendors and the people that we work with. And there were conflicting instructions and to the CAM and Century Management, as well as our vendors. And to streamline communications, we initiated a clause in the Century Management contract for the president of the HOA to be the designated representative, to be the person to handle all fronting communication with vendors and the management company.
Actually, what the contract
You
said.
are well aware, I'm not done speaking, I'm speaking. We discussed this. You were well aware of the reason why we voted on it, and you voted in agreement to this policy. So now you're saying that you don't agree with it.
I didn't agree. I don't.
I am not done speaking, Thomas. We all voted. We all agreed to this policy. And the fact that you violated it is not acceptable. I was out of town. However, we had email communication about this very issue. So I was still checking my email. I was still responding, and I was still handling business. So it wasn't that this was going to be a neglected issue. There is a policy in place. I asked you to draft the email. Once you made me and Brian aware of this issue, I asked you to draft the email, and then I would forward it, because that is the policy that we have established on this board.
Well, you know what?
You chose not to do that.
Wait a minute, wait. Well, hold on one second. Hold on one second. But you're not going to.
I am still speaking,
You're not going to talk.
I did not interrupt you. Please do not interrupt me. I let you finish speaking. I asked you to draft the email about the error once you made me and Brian aware of it. I asked you to draft the email so that I could forward it, because that is the process that we set. Control. You did not do that, and you sent the email, and that is in violation of the policy.
Well,
so I addressed it with you, and I addressed it with Century Management, that is not our communications policy. So that is a problem, because we need to adhere to what we agree on and what we vote on.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I would not disagree with you, but I still think I think we need to revisit. First of all, we all come at this space. We all come in this space from different perspectives. We all bring strengths, and we all bring talents. You know, the night when we voted on look, everything can be revisited. So I apologize if I overstepped. I'm gonna apologize if I overstepped. Okay, but I'm an adult like you're an adult. I'm a professional like you're a professional. And we all got to find a way. While you've got a policy in place, there's just sometimes that you just have to, and look, I deal with policy all day long. There's sometimes that you just have to make decisions. There's no reason why we need to be strict constructionists around certain things. The only thing I'm saying, we need to think about revisiting it. And it should not be personal. It's become it's become very personal between you and I. Very personal.
It's not personal for me at all.
The tone, your tone with me, can be very abrasive. Okay, and no. I'm gonna finish. I agree with you. I'm gonna say.
Can we get back on topic, or can we?
Yeah. So my top. I just think we need to revisit it, and we don't have to revisit it tonight because there's too much tension around it. We don't have to revisit it tonight because there's too much tension around it. But I do want at some point this summer that we revisit it. And I just ask for a little grace, Lashana. Some grace sometimes, some grace. You don't have to take my head off. That's not fair, because I get up every single day and I work hard on behalf of this association. I identified the issue. And the only thing I'm asking for is some grace. There's no reason to take my head off. That's why I kind of feel some type of way about it. It's not what you say, it's not what you do, it's not how we do it. We got to find a better way to work together. It's just too much tension. I just think we just need to I don't know.
Okay. Are you finished, Thomas? Sir? I will
Is there a way I can make a motion to move on to the next agenda topic?
Excuse me, hold on just a minute. I'm going to actually weigh in on this, just for the record. There has not been a reduction of services or any type of duties in regards to how this policy is constructed. I understand why the policy is constructed. the way it is, I have not seen any type of degradation of getting work done.
No, absolutely
So-
not.
So let's move on.
I'm gonna,
The ne-
1 second. I
Thomas,
think, 1 second, Brian, I got a right to speak, dude. I just want to put on our radar that I would like to bring this back at a later time when it's less tense. Okay, let's
didn't
move.
note it.
The next item on the agenda is the attorney recommendations review for district court action. Thomas.
So the recommendation of the attorney, as many of you know that, as you all are aware, we have a number of, we have two firms in this case. We've got one with community legal services, and we have one with Michael Neal and Associates. In this case, we're dealing with Michael Neal and Associates, and what we want to do is to allow the attorney, because he's got $20,000 plus of collection debt. We want to allow the attorney to move forward with filing district court actions as he deems appropriate. And the board would only act if we disagree with his recommendation. We've got a vast number, we have a large debt in terms of delinquencies, and we need to be as aggressive as we can. And the board does not need to be in the way of the attorney making decisions on behalf of the association to collect. What my recommendation is that as a part of this, we our passive review is a period of time. So if they submit something on Monday, we would have, if we're going to act, we would have until my recommendation will be 3 business days or 3 days to change the approach if we disagreed with it.
So is that a motion?
Yeah, so the motion would be to if the attorney has a recommendation that he would send it over to the board, and the board would have 3 days, 3 days. We can do business days or calendar days. I think let's do business days, 3 business days to advise that we disagree with their recommendation.
All right, let me pull up the actual document. Madam President, do you mind if I pull up the actual document from the attorney
No, go ahead.
for review?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry. This is for DCA, correct?
Yeah, that's the DCA.
All right. So the attorney came back and said that the best way for the board would be only to respond when they disagree with our recommendation to file the suit in district court. If we do not hear to the contrary, we will go ahead and prepare the lawsuit. So what I hear Thomas saying is that once they give us the recommendation, then we need to have, his recommendation is to have 3 business days to actually look at it and to kind of, I guess, vet it through.
Yeah, it'd be a passive. It would be a passive. If the 3 of us look at it and say we all are okay, nobody objects to it, then it'll just ride. It's more of a passive review. We don't have to do that. It was just an idea that I had because I know LaShawna had comments about, well, what about, this situation if, the homeowners, this, that, or the other, if we had some concerns. So I wanted to provide a window of opportunity for us to kind of weigh in. That's all. or disagreement.
So I second the motion and open it up for discussion.
Okay.
Any comments, feedback with the motion on the floor?
My only thing, I think the only concern that I would have is, is 72 hours too long. I just it was kind of back of the envelope or 3 business days. Is that too long? They sent something over here on a Monday, and then we have to Wednesday to respond. I think that's consistent with, without SLAs, for 72 hours, 3 business days to address an issue.
So if the attorney has the file and homeowner has been delinquent, non-responsive, what do you, we're already going to be aware of this particular homeowner.
Yeah.
In the situation, correct?
Yeah.
So what's the purpose of the 3 days again? Is it just to take another look, or is it just to provide a buffer? I'm not really following that 3-day requirement.
It's more of a buffer for us to just kind of take another look and say, okay, do we really want to do this in this situation? It was just an idea that I had. I'm not particularly wedded to it.
I have no more questions.
Okay, so let's vote on the motion on the floor. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Wait a minute, what are we doing? I'm confused. What are we doing?
We're voting on your motion to have a 3-day period for us to review the recommendation of the attorney to take district court action against a homeowner. So we're voting on your
Okay, I'm with you now.
motion.
All right.
So I will restate the vote again. All in favor, aye.
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 No.
All opposed? All
No.
opposed. So we have 2.
Wait 1 second, Brian. Why you voting no, man? I'm just curious. I'm just curious.
Well,
I mean, you might sway me to go the other way. I'm just
I'm not
curious.
trying to sway anybody.
No.
I just don't understand. I'm not really sure what the actual 3 days are going to give us.
Probably nothing. Probably not. I think.
Okay.
No. I'm serious. I think I was being sensitive. LaShawna's always talked about. No, in all seriousness, LaShawna's always talked about. Making sure we're not too. I'm going to use the word aggressive, right? And making sure we have a bit of empathy. And so that's the only reason I'm recommending that, out of deference to LaShawna's concern about that we be a little bit.
Right.
So that was in reference, since let me clarify.
Okay.
So that was in reference to homeowners that we have looked at their payment history. They were paying on time, and then all of a sudden they stopped paying. We had a homeowner that was in that situation.
Yeah.
She had some tragedies in her life. She was willing to make a big lump sum payment, and she marked out a scheduled payment plan to get back on track. And so in those instances, I think that the board should show some leniency and some compassion if people have been faithful and they have a plan forward to pay, that we would work with them instead of just sending them to the attorney for court action. So that is what I was referencing when I was talking about that.
Right. So to respond to Thomas, if I don't agree with a policy, or if I don't agree with a motion, I'm not going to vote for it. So
No, I agree. No.
There's no dicks to anybody here.
No.
It's just I don't see why. 3 days. It's not going to buy us anything.
It's not going to buy
Give
us
us anything.
But I guess what suppose to your point, Brian, but suppose the attorney, so let me just kind of play this out. Suppose the attorney files,
Mhm.
we look at it, we still can withdraw. I mean, he can file it, but we can say, okay, no, don't pull it back. We can go back and pull it back.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I'm fine with my
that
vote.
you know what I mean, and that's what I
I'm
was
fine with my
trying
vote,
to.
Thomas. I'm fine with my vote. I'm fine the way I voted.
No, I'm not. No. I'm not saying that you're. I'm not. No. I wasn't asking for the clarification to say that you were not fine with how you voted. I'm looking at it from your perspective. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking at it from your perspective in terms of, hey, is there any value added, right? Is there any value added? So I want to go to. So since you kind of raised that point, and it's definitely valuable. It makes sense. In hindsight. So I want to reconsider my motion. I want no. I see your point. I want to reconsider my motion. And I want to reconsider my motion to allow the attorney. I want to reconsider my motion to allow the attorney to proceed. And the board would just have a passive review, and there would not be a window of opportunity, because your point is valid, Brian. There's no value add. We can always tell him to pull it back, that we don't want to proceed with the suit.
So Thomas, I'm just trying to make sure I'm tracking here. You are rescinding your previous
I want to rescind.
motion.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been voted on. I mean,
we got to go back to reconsider. That's what I was asking, and I was trying to explain why.
Okay, so you are rescinding your motion.
Well, I've
And-
got to ask for we have, if you will do it the right way, we've got to reconsider it. So I am rescinding my motion, but I'm making what I want to do is make a motion that we proceed with the attorney.
Well, number one, you can't rescind your motion because your motion has already passed.
Right. So I want to go. That's why I said I want to go back into reconsider my motion, reconsider the vote rather.
Well, you're going to need to. Well, you probably need to make a new motion.
Okay. So let me make a new. Okay. Let me do it that way. Let me make a new motion that rescinds or rescinds the previous action. And what we would do is, if the attorney deems it appropriate to file in district court, the attorney would automatically file, and the board would have a passive review of the action. If the board takes no action, they proceed. So that's my motion. So basically gives them the ability, once we send the file over there to them, they have carte blanche to take the appropriate legal steps to collect on the association's funds.
Madam President, you're going to review that motion. You know,
what you gonna do, LaShawn?
Okay, so from my understanding, the new motion is that when we receive a recommendation from the attorney to take court action against a homeowner, that we are, once we receive it, they're just going to act on it. And we're not going to use the 3 days to review it. We're just going to, once the attorney makes a recommendation, we're just going to take the attorney's recommendation at face value and let them proceed. Is that correct?
And let them proceed.
I don't believe so. I don't believe that's correct. I believe it.
Okay.
I think he's going by what the attorney had recommended, that if the attorney does not hear from the board of directors to the contrary,
Right,
they will go ahead and prepare the lawsuit and send them on for signature.
and the only thing, go ahead, LaShawn.
So is the process, the attorney sends the board a recommendation. Hey, we recommend that we send this homeowner to court action. They, I guess, wait 24 hours, whatever their policy is. If they don't hear from us, then they move forward.
Yeah,
Right, they didn't specify a time period.
Okay.
Again, the attorney just said, if they will respond, the board is to respond only when they disagree with the recommendation.
and so what I was trying to do was to give us a window, LaShawna, in my previous motion, to provide us a window of opportunity to kind of lean in and review it and say, you know, if we disagree. Does that make
Let me
sense?
ask you a question though. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So we have to send these over to the attorney. So we already know the situation of a particular homeowner, right?
Yeah.
So it's no new information that we're gonna be receiving.
Not 9 times out of 10, probably no.
Not unless the homeowner reaches out to the board or to
To the attorney.
Right.
or to the attorney.
It will be through the attorney. We
Right.
once that file gets to the attorney, we can have no contact with the homeowner around this matter.
Okay.
So basically, as it stands now, all accounts over whether it's
$500.
$500 are automatically referred to the attorney.
Right.
And there's really no research into the account. If it's over $500, it goes to the attorney. Then if the homeowner would reach out, that's the only point there would be additional information. If not, then we would just be going on the basis that the account is over $500.
Right, but let me put a caveat there. The account, if the homeowner has established a payment plan with Century, and Century with Century, for 6 months, or if the board has extended that payment plan via Century for, you know, whatever we ultimately decided it would be, then they're okay. Does that make sense? Let me try it this way. I have an account. I'm going to use me. I have an account that has a balance of, this is not my balance, but I'm just doing a number, a $800 balance. I can call the CAM and say, hey, you know what? I need to be on the payment plan for 6 months to cure this balance. CAMs can say, okay, get on the payment plan. I'm paying my bill. That account would not go to the attorney, even though it's over the threshold, right? Because the homeowner has established a path forward to cure. Okay. If I have an account, Thomas, I have an account that of the same amount, $800, and I have not even reached out to Century to establish a payment plan, and it's, you know, at the time when they do the referrals, that, you know, it's usually late in the month, then that account would automatically go to the attorney, and the attorney would take the appropriate actions, i.e. file a lien on the property, file actions in district court, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Does that help you, LaShawna?
Yeah, I think I understand. So yeah.
Okay. So
are we ready to vote on the new motion?
So again, to reinstate, to restate the new motion is basically what the attorney is recommending.
agreed. I second it.
Well, no,
Is there-
no, you made the motion.
I made the motion, so I can't.
I second it.
Okay, I don't think there's a need for further discussion. Am I correct? No need for further discussion?
No, we're good.
Okay, so we're ready to vote. All in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None opposed, the motion has passed.
Hey, Brian, see what you did? You got us all on one page.
The the next item on the agenda, mailbox damage on Wallingford Court. Brian.
Good evening. So we received a damage report from the CAM, from Brenda, a few days ago. I believe this was June the 28th, about a incident that happened on Wallingford. Mailbox was hit or destroyed. The owner of the mailbox provided a statement with pictures. The CAM has referred this incident over to the Charles County, what is it called? Help me out here. The Charles County
Traffic team?
Traffic
Committee,
Safety,
yeah.
Traffic Safety Division to look into what's causing people to, or what's causing this issue with the mailbox and cars. And so I would like to make a motion, or I'm gonna make a motion to actually refer this to the Safety and Security Committee for them to just kind of look into it and provide, their assessment to us.
I agree with you. I don't think a motion is warranted. I think it's just an automatic referral, Brian. To refer it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to send it to the committee.
That's in the committee.
You got to send it to the committee by motion. So yeah, and then for them to report back within say 3 weeks of them receiving.
I second.
I think I agree. I think the only thing I would give a hard date. So maybe it's at the next board meeting.
Let's see, 3 weeks. Let's see here.
Because you were past the board meeting, weren't you?
Yeah, you're passing the board meeting. So let's just keep it for 3 weeks, which is the 27th. Or actually,
they could report back in August, Brian, at the 3rd.
Yeah, I would like to have a report prior to the actual board meeting, so that way we can review it.
Okay.
So yeah, so let's do a hard date of July the 28th.
Okay.
That they'll provide the report or an assessment.
And would you be open to a friendly amendment that they would brief the board on the 3rd?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So Brian, if you would, before we vote, can you restate the motion and then we can go into the vote?
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So my motion is to refer this incident over to the Safety and Security Committee to assess and provide a report back to the Board of Directors on or before July the 28th. And then also briefing the board in open session on August the 3rd.
With no further discussion, we'll take the vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Unanimous vote, no one opposed, motion is passed. Next item on the agenda is the community survey. Thomas.
All right. So the community survey is an opportunity for one of the things we committed to as a part of the budget briefing and the part of the budget strategy for FY 2022 is to obtain community feedback on some of the things that they want to see in next year's budget and beyond. And so what the timeline, did y'all get my email? I did it back of the envelope.
I did not.
Okay. Hold on. See if I can find it.
Did you want me to bring it up, Thomas?
Yeah, can you, sir? Thank you, sir.
Sure. Let's do this.
So I'm confused by the title. So this is community survey. Was this the finance or the management and
It's
budget
the whole,
survey that
sir,
we
it's
talked
the
about?
whole, yeah, you can call it that.
Okay.
So what I did was the back of it, we had already started work on this. But what I was trying to do is to lay out a timeline that we could kind of get it done and administer it in preparation for V2. And so what the timeline does is lays out the targets that we want to try to meet. So I'll try to walk through this really quick. So June 1st through the 15th, we develop the survey that's already, the draft survey is already done in flux. Board comments, LaShawn and Brian's already sent me some comments around this. So that will occur the 16th through the 30th. Take those comments and roll them into an updated version July 1st through the 19th. Excuse me, through the 9th. July 11th through the 15th, we would figure out what survey tool we're going to use, drop it in there, and make sure we have all the pieces that we want. The questions are choices are, because sometimes when you pick a survey tool, you might not be able to do what you think you can do. So to put the tool in there, put the survey in the tool, and have a beta so we all could look at it. July 18th through the 20th, excuse me, through the 30th, we would disseminate the survey to the homeowners through that period. So it'll be a 2-week window when we would ask folks to take the survey and get the feedback. August 1st through the 7th, we would look at the data and work with the appropriate stakeholders within the board and committees to refine for version 2 of the FY23 draft budget.
I second the motion so that we can open it up for discussion. I'm just now seeing this timeline, and I'm hesitant to vote in favor of it because the comments that I saw that were submitted were substantial around the content and the layout of the survey. So I'm hesitant to approve a timeline without seeing the revision first.
Well, the revision of the survey, I mean, all this is the timeline that we want to, the goal is to get it out by, this has nothing to do with the survey content, right? This has nothing to do with the survey content. What this does is puts us on the path to kind of get it out by the end of the month. That's all this does.
I understand that. I'm just with the edits and comments that I'm remembering, they were surrounding some major changes that would have to be done in the survey to revise it. And with this timeline, this has you having it revised in the next couple of days and moving on. So I'm just concerned that that's not going to be enough
doable
time.
All right, so I'll amend this, LaShawna. I see your point. Definitely valid. So here's what I think we should do. Number number 7, number 3, we will make that go through the 15th, which is a Friday. Number 4, we would do that from the 18th through the 22nd. You with me, LaShawna?
Yep.
Okay. And then the 20, and then what we would do is still we would get for the Brentwood Weekly, we get it out we put it in the Brentwood Weekly the week of the 23rd. And we can still go through the end of the month, or we can do 2 weeks to the 7th. And then just push number 7 out of number 6 out a week. So basically what we're doing is shifting, we're adding additional week to number 3.
Right, okay.
And then that way, to your point, it will give us a bit more time to kind of refine. That's fair. So do you want me to restate this? Or you good?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I have a question. We're still in the question phase, correct?
Yeah.
Yes,
So this community survey, that is a survey that is going to capture what data? Because as LaShawna had mentioned earlier, what you provided us a couple of weeks ago,
Rough, very rough.
it was a large
Yeah.
kind of it touches on everything.
Yeah. It should be, again, when I did that, it was the back of the envelope, 2 in the morning, just kind of putting all the ideas down on
So what are
paper.
we focused on?
I think what we need to focus on is our financial issues and things that impact the budget or would impact the budget. So that's the scope. So
Okay.
that's where the focus needs to be. So there were I'm trying to be vague and intentional because I don't want to just divulge what we're asking, because we're asking homeowners to kind of weigh in on this stuff. I think there was some questions in there around perception of different things, right? Those types of questions don't need to be in there. It needs to really be centered around strategies that will impact the financial position of the association. Does that make sense, Brian? I'm trying to be vague and intentional.
Thank you. I just want you to clarify that.
No. It was the back of the envelope, like getting all my ideas out, so you all could kind of react to them. And now it's time to step back, tighten the scope, and that sort of thing. But I'm really being vague and intentional.
Okay.
So let me just kind of restate this. So for number 3, it will go from the 1st through the 15th. So Brian's gonna be out. So LaShawna, I'll set up a working session with you, and you work with me out on what we can get it done. The number 4.
Well, hold on. So there's a working session between the 1st and the 15th.
We're doing the revisions. So I'm gonna take all your comments, take LaShawna's comments, get them into a new version. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
It does. However, hold on. Yeah, that's my idea. However, I need to be I would like to be a part of this particular.
Sure. So let's.
And so if you provide me a date and time, even though I'm on vacation, I'll make sure that I will.
We will loop you in. We'll loop you in. No worries. Sounds like a plan. We'll loop you in. I didn't want to interrupt your partying, man. That's all that was. Number number 1 through the. So we'll go from the 1st to the 15th. All right. The number 4 will go from the 16th to the 23rd. Number 5 will go from the 24th through the 30th. Oh no, I'm sorry, we agreed on the 7th, like the first week of August, whatever that is. And then the last one will go from the 8th of August, or the 8th of August through the 14th or 15th. So basically what we're doing is shifting everything out a week from number 4 down forward. Does that make sense, Brian?
It does.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll update this and I'll send it to everybody so it'll be a part of the minutes. Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Are there, Lashana, any particular date and time you want online next week around this?
Hey, can I get back to you?
Yeah, I was just trying to give Brian a thing, but yeah, I'll send a note.
Oh, okay.
I know you don't like Tuesdays.
No, Tuesdays is full of meetings. It's just not a good day.
Can you do the 13th or the 14th?
Yes.
Okay, we'll send a note. We'll sort it there. I'm not gonna sort it here. Let's not sort it here. We'll get it straight.
Okay. Let's see. The next thing on the agenda is
Wait. We gotta approve this. Are we approving this?
Oh,
Are we doing this by consensus? What are we doing?
right. Yeah. Go ahead, Madam President.
I think that unless you guys want to vote, I think that we can
I think we're
go
good.
by consensus on the revision of the timeline. I don't think
Alright.
we need to vote on it.
Alright,
Is everybody good? I
I'm
see you
good.
shaking hands.
Yes.
All
Keep
right.
going. Let's go.
Okay. Next is the irrigation system repair, Brian.
So irrigation system, we had a secondary company go out and look at the irrigation system. I believe, Thomas, you actually talked on that last board meeting about the.
So you want me to help? So you want me to help you, or
Yeah, go ahead.
there are two vendors. One is Montgomery Irrigation, and one is I don't know what the other one is. Brian, Brian found another one. Basically, in short, we need to replace a component. We need to replace a component out there, and it's going to cost about $1,000. Just for the back of the envelope, it's going to cost about $1,000 to replace it. Once that component is replaced, we can determine next steps in terms of, do we need to do additional repairs to the system, or do we need to replace the system? And so we need to do this. We did find out that we do have electricity at the well. There's electric power there, so that issue should be resolved. And I think we need to. We made a lot of investments in our flowers in that area. We need to make sure that we have. We need to make sure that we have the infrastructure to support our investment. We do. I would not want to lean in and do a watering contract. With Outdoor Creations would cost the association $7,600 for the season, and that's not a path we're comfortable going down. So I think this is an action we need to take to correct this deficiency. Did I get it right? Right.
Yes, yes, you got it right. I wanted to add the Smedco Electric accounts that Brenda the CAM identified. There may be an oversight on account number 7858209620. Well pump. The address is 3547 Catskill Court,
Mm-hmm.
and it's labeled as irrigation pump. That is actually the pond that's behind Catskill Court.
Mm-hmm.
That is not, which has a water aerator device that's in the pond that actually it's a fountain basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that uses electricity. The distance between that pond and the actual well is significant, and it goes through woods, and I'm not sure that that's actually accurate because just the location of that meter, or where this meter is located off of Catskill. I'm not sure if it's actually providing electricity for the irrigation pump at the front of the community.
That's a that's a SMETCO question. I mean,
Right. So
around,
how do we kind of dig into this deeper and to quantify that these account numbers are exactly what's, what they say they are?
we need to have a conversation with SMETCO, have Brenda have a conversation with SMETCO, to be totally honest with you. But this is a step in the right direction. I think what we need to approve is I mean, I think that's something we can kind of sort, right? Is which account is the one for the well, which is account is for the streetlights. I think we've got that, but I think to your point, clarify it. I think what this action is saying, okay, we know we need to move forward with this to bring this online, and I think we can work. In my mind, I think we can work through the we can work through the logistics in terms of which account is where, and um, post this. I think that we need to move forward on this so that we can kind of figure out where we are with this irrigation system.
Okay.
So go ahead.
So I make a motion that we allocate $1,000 to move this line item forward in order to get have the vendor come out, get the system on board, and see what is the cause of the pain when it comes to irrigation to the front of the community.
I would agree with that. I would just want to identify the source. I think the Montgomery Irrigation gave us a quote of $700 for $750 for the controller, but then we have that hourly cost. So Brian, if you would be agreeable, I would recommend we do $1,500, just to be safe. So I don't want Brenda having to come back.
Are we using Montgomery, or are we using let me see who's the other contract?
I would go with the one that you recommended, because Montgomery takes too long to get out here if it was me.
Well, it takes too long and they're pretty pricey.
Right. So yeah.
So that is what's the name of this vendor? Spinner Systems.
Okay, so we use Spinner Systems. We give them $1,500, and it will come from the repair and replacement reserve, which is, and we use budget category 2074. Because the repair exceeds, to repair, and exceeds $1,000.
So to clarify, so I'm tracking, Brian's motion is to earmark $1,500 for Spinner Systems to do exactly what?
To replace the controller, and do the system test. Do the system test of the system. So this is the initial pass.
Okay.
If the bill comes in less than $1,000, then we can't pull it from the reserve, because it has to be $1,000 more. So if they go out there, they do the assessment, and we come in at $850, then we would identify another line item source. So what I'll do, LaShawn, is I'll give you both places. So what it'll do is says we are earmarking this from the reserve, above $1,000 for 2074. If the bill comes in less than that, then we will take it from the ground maintenance line. But I'll give you the budget categories.
Okay.
All right.
Are we ready to vote?
I think we can do it by consensus. I think we're all on the same page. I don't think I need a vote for this. Let's.
Well, Brian made a motion, so
Oh.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to
it's spending money. So yeah. Yeah. So vote. Yeah, we can vote. That's
Ready.
okay. So all in favor?
All right.
Aye. None opposed, unanimously, it passes. Next agenda item, committee chairs. We had opened up for homeowners to volunteer to be chairs of a few committees that we had need of leaders for. One was ARC, one was finance, and one was management. We had one volunteer for the ARC. And I'll start there. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the resume?
Yes.
I did.
Okay. Are we prepared to vote and put in place the ARC chair?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So all in favor of making Martha Henderson the ARC chair for a period of 1 year? All in favor, aye.
Well, Shauna, can I amend your motion? What I would like to do is align this appointment, if you agree, if we all agree, all the other chairs would expire at the end of the year. So I would like to bring this one in alignment with that, so that there's, yeah.
I understand, that makes
Good.
sense. So
Yeah,
all of the chairs, Brian, are appointed for a period of 1 year.
Correct.
And then will be reassessed at the end of the year. Chairs are selected by the board. So instead of these new chairs, their period starting right now and ending a year from today, their term would end in December with everyone else's. I accept the amendment. I don't have a problem with that. That makes sense. So the amended motion is that we make Martha Henderson the ARC chair through December 31st of 2022. All in favor?
Aye.
I agree.
None opposed. We have a new ARC chair. Congratulations, Ms. Henderson. I did see you on earlier. Moving on to the finance chair. We had one volunteer submit a resume for the finance chair. Has everyone had an opportunity to review?
Yes.
Thomas?
I think I read it. I think I read it.
Okay. Are we prepared to vote and put in place the finance chair?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor of making Michael Spencer the finance chair through December 31st of 2022? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm going to vote present, and I'm going to explain why I'm voting present. I think Mike's a great guy. I think Mike's a great guy. I want to say this in general. I've got concerns about chairs being of the same household. I'm just tell you how I feel about it. It's been done before.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
Wait,
one
second. It's been done before. And it's not the best practice. I like Mike. I think Mike's a great guy. I think Mike's a strategic thinker. He's an independent thinker. Mike and I have worked together, God, since the advisory committee around budget and finance. So I don't have a problem with Mike personally. I think it's something we need to look at as a board, as directors, is this issue of chairs being of the same household. Directors and chairs being of the same household. So I'll be candid. If my wife decided to be a chair because I'm a director of a committee, I wouldn't vote for her either. Because I just think it's too close to a director. I think there has to be a firewall between it. Has nothing to do with what I think about this particular candidate. I think it's a practice that we need to think about. And so that's why I'm voting present. But I look forward to working with Mike. Mike's a cool guy, and we often agree. So that's my comment.
Your comment has been noted. Since there was only one volunteer and we are in need of a finance chair, there were 2 in favor, 1 marked present, so the motion passes. The last chair that we requested was for management. We did not receive any volunteers for that chair position. So in the interim, the board will act in that capacity. It was decided that I was going to be the liaison for that committee. So I will take the lead on that until a time where we can get a volunteer for a chair
And I think
for
what
that position.
Sean, I would recommend that we put it back out again. It may have got buried, so let's put it back out. I would say Q4 when we start looking for new chairs for all the committees. Make it a part of that. I wouldn't recommend doing that.
Okay, we can look at that then towards the end of this year. But to keep things moving
Yep.
until we can get a volunteer, I'll take lead on management matters. There are several contracts that are coming up for renewal that we'll have to look at, Century being the main contract. So I'll take the lead on that and we'll figure out how we're going to operate the management committee until we get a chair. The last item on the agenda is illegal dumping stormwater drain. Brian.
Yeah, so it was brought to the board's attention that there was an incident that there's been some illegal dumping in the stormwater drainage system within the community. I like to get the board members to find out what we need to do or who should we recommend this to in order to have some corrective action. So it's kind of open for discussion.
I think this happened earlier, around right when the board we were around Q4 of last year, and I'm trying to recollect, Brian.
So
And
last year that was actually
was that a contractor who did that or something like that?
that incident was a contractor, it was a landscaping contractor that was dumping leftover fertilizer slash grass waste that they use. It's like a green foam that they use in order to germinate grass. So they were dumping that into the storm waste management. This here's a little bit different. This is actually potential cooking oil that's being dumped into the stormwater management system.
Yeah. So somebody actually, I'm just trying to understand this one, man. Somebody actually went out there, took the oil or whatever it is, and dumped it down the drain. Is that what you're telling me?
Correct.
Oh, wow.
So what, I mean, obviously we shouldn't dump stuff down the drain, but what is the harm or the issue with this, and what is the recommendation on an action, or what is it that we're looking to have done?
Well, I don't know what the action would be, but I know the harm is that, again, cooking oil is something that you do not want to
Correct.
have it- I'm sorry? Oh, someone
I
else.
think, yeah, there's someone that's not on mute.
Cooking oil is something that you don't want to introduce into the ecosystem, right? Especially given where we are in Southern Maryland, where every storm system in every community on this side of Waldorf, or this side of 301, west of 301, goes into the Mattawoman Creek, which then feeds into the Potomac. So is it a violation of county ordinance? I don't know. Do we need to give this over to the CAM? That could be a recommendation. I don't know. I just know it was brought to the attention, and therefore I'm putting it out and trying to make sure that it gets addressed.
No, I see where you're going with it, Brian. I'm with you. I say we send it to the. I say we send it to. This is what I think to happen. A short-term fix is to ask comms to craft something just to kind of remind people that when you do these sorts of things, it impacts our drinking water, our ponds, our streams, that sort of thing. Just as a reminder, something similar to what we did around the 4th of July, right? And then we kind of watch it and see if we get another complaint around this. I'm not sure what the CAM could do around this. I think this is one of those things where, in my mind, this is one of those things where we just get a reminder out to the homeowners. This is a bad practice.
I would recommend maybe sending it to landscaping, maybe having them research whether or not there's any ordinances or anything county or local about this type of thing, about dumping substances. In reference to sending out the notice about the fireworks, we had the ordinance in there that explained. So I would recommend sending it to landscaping, having them do a little bit of research, seeing if there's any information out on that, so that we can have that information in our arsenal. So that if it happens again, then we would know what direction to take, whether we should send it to the CAM, or maybe there's some other place that we don't know about, we're not aware about, that we should be sending it to. So that would be my recommendation.
I see your point.
Yep.
And maybe they go ahead, Brian.
No, I was just agreeing.
And then maybe they could, based on what they find, let them partner with Nicole and the team over there to craft something. I'm still on the reminder, like I agree with the research, I agree with the other pieces, but I'm still on the reminder around hey, this is a bad practice. You really shouldn't do this, because this is what the impact is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think we need to vote on this. I think we just a referral to landscape, and then based on what they find, the two teams can partner to solution what the messaging is going to be, and then comms can either bring it back to the board or whatever we need to. For this.
So Brian, you'll take care of
Yes.
okay. All right, as the liaison. Okay, that is all of the items that are on the agenda. Thought we were going to get done a little quicker. It is 8:27. So we're going to open up for the community engagement portion. We will end when there are no more electronic hands raised. I see only one hand right now, or after 20 minutes. So Martha Henderson.
Good evening. Thank you so much. I'm eager to start working with the art committee. So I can get with someone. I'm not sure if it's Thomas or Shonda or you, Brian, or how to get started or what I need to do. Maybe we can meet with that.
Yeah, I'll connect with you and Mike in the next week or so, and you all in my cluster. So I'll connect with y'all, and we'll figure it out.
Okay. Also, Brian, as far as the dumping is concerned, I don't know if you need help, I was the one that filmed it. I was the one that seen it, and I was the one who turned it in.
Okay,
This is towards the end of before they turned it over to you guys. I think as they get as a new committee, I'm getting this all mixed up. As what do you call the as they was finishing the community,
Mhm.
that's what they were doing. So I'm not sure if that's something they was doing all along, but they just happened to get caught that time, and I took those pictures and video and sent it in. So if you
Thank
have
you,
any
Ms. Newsom.
questions with that, I can help you with that or what I've seen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I believe that's all. One more thing. This is just personal with me. I'm not sure about who all is on the committee or whatever, but it really, for me, it looks really unprofessional. Us, especially us of color, when we act a certain way. Some things I feel like should really be taken offline before coming on, because it seemed like you guys, I'm just being straight. It seemed like you arguing and stuff like that. Nobody wants to be a part of that. So if you guys can kind of do your thing, that some things you can do offline, that would be awesome, because you're reflecting our community of what everybody else see. And if they see this, they may push back. So that was just my 2 cents, and that was it.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any more hands up at this time. If you would like to ask a question, now is the time to raise your electronic hand. If not, then we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting for this evening. Okay, I do not see any hands raised. The time now is 8:30 p.m. and we are going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.